Ooh, I've been studying a lot and I have my AP Calculus BC exam tomorrow. Oh, hey, I've been always wondering how so many students score a 5 on their AP Calculus BC exam. That's right, I'm going to be sharing with you a data analysis project about AP exam performances. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, I'll be sharing with you my project I worked on about analyzing AP exam performances in 2016. I thought this was interesting to share with you because I wanted to show with you how students perform on their AP exams. And there's definitely a lot of data with AP subjects. That's why I wanted to analyze how students perform, and also I wanted to also provide some insightful conclusions on how to improve students' performances, even if they're doing bad in their classes. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so here's my project I worked on. The title of my project is AP Exam Performance Analysis in 2016. And you can see there's all the AP subjects. There's Calculus BC, Physics C, Microeconomics, Language and Composition, and US History. And then here's the Calculus BC official site for the AP exam site through College Board and AP right down here. And the objective of my project is to analyze and understand the performance trends of students taking advanced placement exams in 2016. And the analysis will focus on identifying patterns, trends among different AP subjects and exploring factors that may influence students' performances. And by analyzing AP exam data, educators, students, and policymakers can make informed decisions to improve educational outcomes and to make better student successes in future AP programs. So the content here is how I got the dataset and the software used. And I also will go into descriptive analysis, meaning I will cover the summary statistics about calculating mean, median, standard deviations for a subject. And I also will show a distribution analysis, in other words, visualizing the distribution of scores using bar charts, pie charts, and line charts to make the analysis more accessible and understandable to show and present. And I will also show you the participation of the number of students taking the AP exam and the overall participation rate. And with comparative analysis, I will cover subject performances as well as comparing the AP subjects with their highest and lowest performances, as well as their race and ethnicity. And I also will show you a trend analysis, basically analyzing a change in AP exam. I'll choose one AP subject and notice any declines in performances, as well as the subject popularity. And at the end, I will provide conclusion and insights about the important keys about analysis and draw insights about AP exam performance trends in 2016. So first off, here's where I got the data set. I got it from Kaggle, and this is something I was interested in sharing with you, since the link is right here. And then in this, I also use the software I use were R, Tableau, and Excel. I decided to use two softwares in one project. That's why I use you'll find it here. And this is an R, and here's the CSV file name. You can see there's a lot of rows. You see that it shows the first 6 rows, art history as a subject, and then the scores, and then the students. It breaks it down basically. First off, here's the descriptive analysis about the number of students taking the AP exam in 2016. And you can see here I use Tableau to work with this. And you can see here that you have I create a bar chart which shows a distribution of all the students taking the AP exam in 2016. And each of its color represents the exam, the subject that they took. So for example, we see that English, language, and composition have the highest number, and then AP US History is also second popular. And I notice down here when you go into, I think there's also psychology and research and seminar is not so popular among students, but I can tell that from the chart that there are more students taking AP Language and Composition and AP US History, and these subjects are highly valued. And you can see also Calculus AB and BC. They're still taken by a significant amount of people, students here. So here's a descriptive analysis about the number of AP exams taken by gender. So for example, this is the code I used. I just subsetted it, each of these, and found all the number of students taken by gender. You see males and females here, and I created a stack bar chart using R programming, and you can see that the number of exams, males versus females, and then the AP subject. For example, you can see that for chemistry, the ratio between males and females are about the same, and you can also see that for computer science A, there are more males taking it than females, and that's quite obvious. And as well as physics C, more males are taking AP physics C, electricity and magnesium. And whereas in psychology, you can see more females are taking that course and studio art, whereas US history and chemistry have a balance ratio between them. And here's a descriptive analysis about calculating the mean and standard deviation. We can see for AP Calculus AB that the mean is 2.94 and the standard deviation is 1.58. And I will also compare that to AP Calculus BC as well. So let's see that. And you can notice that the mean for AP Calculus BC is 3.81, and there are more students earning 5s. I just realized there are 54,660 students, and you can see there are a lower amount of students that score a 1 on the AP Calculus BC. And one of the reasons I think is that students, this is an interesting fact that AP Calculus BC has a higher average score rate than AB and a passing rate of 48.4% compared to other subjects. And this, I think one of the reasons is that most students maybe took AP Calculus AB in their junior year, and that's why they were well prepared for a prerequisite, and they have a strong emphasis on foundational knowledge in math. Or in other words, I think that the AP exams for Calculus BC they made the exams, the difficulty a lot easier due to the fact that there's more topics covered, and that's why students performed a lot better compared to AB, where it's a lot on a slower pace, but the questions are more difficult on the exams. So that's another possibility. And here's a comparative analysis. I thought this was interesting to share with you about comparing the highest subject performances who scored a 5. So in other words, you can see here I created a bar chart stack. You can see a horizontal bar chart in R, and I calculated the max and the min. So you can see that the highest subject performance is with who scored a 5. In other words, the number of students who scored a 5 on AP Chinese is that with a 62.8% rate, and the lowest subject performance who scored a 5 of the number of students is AP Physics 1 with a 4.8% percentage rate. So you can see that Physics 1, based on the graph, Physics 1 is incredibly difficult for students. That's why they make the exams harder, and Chinese is considered the easiest. And also, I think it also depends on how many students are taking it, assuming that there are equal amounts. Whereas Chinese, there's not many students, but in Physics 1, I think there are more students. Not as many as AP Language and Composition or AP US History. You can see that Physics 1 is the lowest subject performances who earned the top scores, and World History, and so on. And you can also see that Chinese and Japanese language and composition in BC fall under the top percentage. I think that's why Chinese and Japanese, because it's considered they make the exams easier. Now let's compare the subject performances who scored a 1. You can see that the highest subject performance who scored a 1 is AP Calculus AB with a score with a percentage rate of 30.9, which is right here. Surprisingly, it beats Physics 1 by a little bit. And the lowest AP subject performance of score of 1 is AP Spanish language with a 4.8. So that means more students must have performed better. But you can see that Spanish language, studio arts, these are non-academic related subjects. Their scores a lot higher. Less students score a 1 but you don't know, there might be students that might score a 2, 3, 4. It might be all distributed, and the 5 would still be considered low. It all varies. And here's a comparative analysis about comparing exam performances by ethnicity. You can see I use Tableau to examine and analyze the data. You can see there's 4 pie charts. You can see for whites and the scores and the colors here. And you can see that red is 1, blue is 2, yellow is 3, green is 4, and purple is 5. And you can see that more Asians score higher on their exams than whites, blacks, and Hispanics. You can see their 4s and 5s here. And you can see where this is something interesting, that more blacks do poorly on their AP exams. You can see that there are more 1s here and fewer 4s and 5s. But I feel that the pie distribution for whites is about equal. You can see the average, more students score about around a 3, which is average. And about same with Hispanic, Latino, maybe just a bit more 1s. It comes in second after the blacks. And here's an interesting trend analysis I wanted to show you. I found this on the Wikipedia, and you can see that this shows a whole chart here. You can see from 2007, the year 2007 to 2023, and the percentage rates of 5s. And you can see, I just noticed that there are fewer students taking the AP Chinese exam in 2007, but I noticed in 2023 there's more students taking it. And I notice a trend here, as there are more students taking the exams. As the number of students increases, you can see that the number of students who score 5s decreases. So in other words, it becomes, in 2023, 50% of students earn a 5. And this is the graph I used based on it. You can see that the number of 5 scores of 5 decreases as the number of students increases. And you can also see that the mean also decreases as well. And the number percentage of scores of 3s or higher. But there's no significant increase in the scores of 1s and 2s. I think only with 3s and 4s. And then some inclusion and insights I have on this project is that AP English Language and Composition and AP US History have the most number of students taking the exams. And this indicates that subjects are highly valued, and one of the obvious is earning college credits so that students don't have to take it in college, and it's also a way to save money. And another reason is that they are interested in the subject alone. In other words, the subject is directly relevant to the student's experiences. And both these courses also provide fundamental writing skills for academic success in future job careers. And some students may perceive these subjects as more manageable or interesting compared to other AP courses like AP Calculus BC. And another point I want to point out is that AP Computer Science and AP Physics C are taken mostly by male students, and the reason is because gender norms. They're perceived by gender norms In other words, computer science and physics have been perceived as male-dominant fields, whereas psychology and arts classes have been perceived as female-dominant fields, which can lead to more males feeling encouraged or compelled to pursue these subjects. Also, I see that many boys have received more encouragement or have a greater interest in computer science and physics. That's why in college there are not about 90% of males in college, or in other words, when I went to Rutgers, are majoring in engineering. And Asian students also do better on their AP exams compared to whites, Hispanics, and black students. Another reason is that in many Asian cultures, there are obviously a strong emphasis on the value of education and academic achievements, and parents often have education as their number one priority and encourage their students to excel academically, which leads to a higher level of motivations and dedication to studying. So that's a good culture. But I noticed that Americans don't seem to push their students hard enough. This is a typical problem for most students in America. That's why also Asian students are often majoring in STEM-related fields in college that require problem-solving skills, including calculus, statistics, physics, and computer science. And here are some insights that I wanted to show you is that outreach and awareness by scheduling meeting sessions and personal stories about their AP experience. I thought this was important for students and beneficial to discuss their benefits of taking AP classes, including career opportunities and college readiness. I think most programs should host meetings like this by sharing success stories of former students who have benefited from taking these courses. Then they will get a preview, an idea of what it's like to take AP classes. Another is to provide strategic insights for educators, including early exposure and interest developments. I think this is something important for also with resource allocations. There are schools that might consider allocating more resources to subjects with lower average scores. And this will involve additional tutoring, enhancing teaching materials, or more rigorous preparatory courses, and encouraging participations at an early stage, early exposure, especially for girls who want to take, especially we need to get more girls to take AP Computer Science and AP Physics in their STEM fields. For example, we could set up clubs. We could set up students. The school can set up clubs and organizations that will attract more girls and make a title engaging in the STEM field. For example, like girls coding, brains, or engineering for women's society. Those are some examples. So thank you for watching my project. I hope this was interesting, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also follow my social media, my Instagram and Snapchat.